Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I have another video for you guys from Cartoon Universe. This one talking about the sins that send you to hell, at least in theory, because again, we only have the pilot and we have the two comics and we have whatever information was given to us from the live streams, which for all we know could have changed by now. So the thing is, like I said in the previous videos, all we have left is to theorize. So this should be very, very interesting. So as always, we're going to be watching this video, but before we do, I do just have to remind you that if you want to support the channel, remember to leave a like, share the video, subscribe, leave a comment, but don't just do it to my video, guys. Go do it to their videos, because remember, they're the ones who make this content. We're just sitting back and enjoying them. So go to their channel and go show them some support. Subscribe to their channel if you haven't. Leave likes on their videos, comment, just anything you can do to help whatever YouTube channel with the algorithm, because you guys know YouTube is not going to help us. We have to help channels that we like basically seem more favorable to the algorithm. So there we go. Just wanted to get that out of the way, and let's just go ahead and watch the video.
Hazbin Hotel and Hell of a Boss take place in Hell, which of course means that there are earthborn demons that had to have sinned at some point in their mortal lives to end up there. This raises some questions about just how high the standards are for getting into heaven, which sins specifically get you sent to hell, and to what degree forgiveness plays a role. My name is Deep Cut, this is Cartoon Universe, and today we're going to talk about which sins send you to hell in Hazbin Hotel. But before we jump into it, I just want to remind you guys to click on the subscribe button. You might as well do it, I'm not going to stop asking, and resistance is futile. Now, hell is presented in Hazbin Hotel as being rooted in Christian mythology, as evidenced by its mostly Christian icons such as Satan, Lucifer, and even references to lesser-known demons like Stolas of the Goetia. While Visipop has said that other religions will play a role as well, the Abrahamic religions are certainly the basis for it. With that in mind, I believe that means that the recent reveal of the 7 princes of hell...
Hold on, I gotta... Oh boy, because this is part of Hell of a Boss, I gotta pause it every now and then to avoid the copyright, because even though there's audio talking over it, and even though there's clear editing, because this is the actual footage, I do have to pause it every now and then, because that's all YouTube sees, and that'll immediately get a claim on the video. And I've said it in the comments in response to one of the previous videos. They asked me when I told them I couldn't post a video that they asked me to react to. They asked me why. I told them it's because, well, it got claimed, and not only did it get claimed, it also got blocked. So I wouldn't mind if they claimed it, if they still allowed the video to be shown. You know, just claim it to where if this video gets any ads, and you know, any revenue goes to the channel that made it, which okay, that's fine. But I do have a problem when it gets blocked. So just to let you know from now on.
Within the show,
Let's read this. Hell of a fun fact. A loot land is in the Great Ring. Oh yeah, I remember this. Only hellborn species can traverse the rings, while dead sinners can only exist in the top ring, i.e. Pride.
Presenting one of the
So I guess that pretty much says that all of the characters from Hazbin Hotel are only going to be seen in the Pride ring. We're not going to see them in any of the other rings of hell. So I do wonder if maybe we're going to explore those rings in other shows. Maybe in Hell of a Boss, since they are hellborn demons. So they can go from one to the next. And a lot of people theorize we're going to see them in the next episodes of Hell of a Boss, which we will react to here on this channel. So subscribe if you haven't, if you want to see those.
and deadly sins, is the basis for how characters will be judged.
Okay, let's just pause again just a little bit to avoid the copyright bots. And hey, at least we can admire the artwork, which is, again, very, very well done.
Within the show. Well, the 7 deadly...
Also, notice how the footprint slowly fades as he starts to walk away. Just nice little detail.
Sins are popular in Christian mythology. They are not exclusive to it, and people from other cultures were...
Just pause again. Okay, there we go.
Religions, or even people without religion at all, can accept their premise as immoral, even if there is...
Again, I'm sorry, I know this is annoying, but I have to do this. Otherwise, it gets struck. So, well, not struck, claimed. So
some debate surrounding their...
Please put up with it for just a little bit, at least until this goes away.
Nuance. So let's break those down in relation to the characters in the show. First, let's start with wrath.
Thank God.
Wrath, in its most basic definition, is just a synonym for anger. And being angry isn't just enough to send...
You know, okay, here's what I don't get. So they'll claim me for this footage, but whenever these videos we react to has footage from the pilot, nothing happens. That's what I don't understand. See, this is why I'm so fucking frustrated with the YouTube copyright system or the copyright bot, the fucking algorithm that they have. Jesus.
To hell. But what you do because of that anger is what could damn you. At the top of the list is murder, the act of killing someone simply because they have angered you in some way. We see this in Hell of a Boss's first episode, where a school teacher who seemingly
Okay, again, oh Jesus, yeah, gotta be careful. So this is obviously from the first episode.
lived an otherwise perfectly wholesome life ends up in hell because she
Yes,
murdered.
by the way, this was pretty fucked up. So you know what? Okay, if I pause it, I might as well talk about it a little bit. So, yeah, so wrath, anger, and he mentioned killing someone in anger. So I guess yeah, that could send you to hell if you kill someone because of anger. But then again, what if, let's say, for example, yeah, you killed in anger, but it was mostly in self-defense? Like, let's say someone's trying to kill you, and that act made you angry, which would play into wrath, and you killed them in self-defense. So would that still get you sent to hell, or would heaven look at it and say, okay, there were special circumstances, which I have something I want to say about that near the end, and say, okay, you know what, concerning the circumstances, we understand why you did it. I don't think that's enough to send you to hell. Just
Her husband for cheating on her, as well as tried to murder his mistress. Now, murder and killing aren't exactly the same thing, as you can kill someone in self-defense, but
Yeah.
that is not murder.
also nice little touches right here. I didn't notice at first when I first watched the episode that they showed you Fizzaroli right here. Oh, and there's a drawing of Pences. I just noticed this now. And there's Moxie with his horse, of course. And wait, is this just a scene of horses? What does that say? Skip?
Nor is execution in the name of justice and protection of others. I don't imagine that the rules are arbitrary and you're expected to follow them at the absolute detriment of yourself, but rather if you are killing someone for negative and entirely personal reasons.
Also, is it just me or does this remote kind of look like it's wearing a bow tie? Which I guess would make sense since almost every single character is wearing a fucking bow tie. Or at least every male character is wearing a bow tie. I don't know. The women, not so much. Well, actually, no. There's Charlie. So, yeah, okay. So, one, Charlie. I don't think Vaggie doesn't wear a bow tie. Millie doesn't wear a bow tie. Haluna doesn't wear a bow tie. I don't think there's anyone else. Oh, God, what was her name? Millie's sister. What was her name? Sally Mae. Yeah, she doesn't wear a bow tie. I don't. Her mom doesn't wear a bow tie, and yeah, just it's mostly just dudes wearing bow ties.
That aren't crucial to protect yourself or others, then it is likely going to get you sent to hell. It is likely sinful enough to send you to hell to use your wrath to prey on others in less violent ways.
Again, just
As well, such as a parent
oh, see,
abusing
even the kids wearing a bow
a
tie.
child. I think context really does matter.
See, bow tie,
Moving on to sin number 2, greed. Now everyone needs to make
bow tie. She's just wearing a regular tie.
a living,
Well, he's
and
not wearing a
simply
bow tie.
wanting more or even working towards more probably isn't going to get you sent to hell. But knowingly exploiting others to their detriment in order to acquire more wealth is likely going to do the job. For instance, we know that Angel's family is in hell because
Okay.
of their mob dealings. While a lot of this may have to do with murders that happened because of their crimes, I imagine they would still end up here if they had managed to do with their dirty dealings without actually directly killing anyone, as providing drugs to the vulnerable for profit, thus helping them to ruin their own lives, probably counts as sinful enough to go to hell, particularly on a scale as large as a mob. Simply working hard at a company to make and hoard your own wealth isn't going to get you sent to hell. It may also be sinful for your greed to exploit your consumer base in a negative way. When it comes to the 3V overlords, Vox, Velvet, and Valentino, you'd imagine that the adult films Valentino produces might exploit
Okay, I also gotta pause here because this is a music video and
its employees negatively. But Vox and Velvet are just known for producing TV and social media at the moment, things I don't imagine are sinful to consume outright or even to produce, but can be done with evil intentions. Theft, of course, likely falls under this sin as well. And now number 3, gluttony. When most people think of gluttony, it is because of an overabundance of food, but this was during a time when food wasn't as plentiful as it is today. To be a glutton would mean to overindulge, often at the expense of others, but it is a bit less relevant today, even with less developed nations facing food shortages. Instead, I think that gluttony in Hazbin Hotel likely has more to do with alcohol or drug abuse, or overindulgence of any kind that is a detriment to your life and those around you. I don't imagine being a low-key alcoholic or stoner is going to send you to hell, again, even if it may be considered sinful in the show, but if you died from an overdose or spent your entire life on stuff as strong as what Angel smokes, it would likely get you sent to hell. Number 4, pride. Pride is a bit of a tough one to field in today's day and age. I don't think that simply being proud of yourself or your accomplishments is enough to go to hell, but I think people who overindulge to the point where their pride comes from thinking they are better than others and treating them accordingly is what damns you. Someone who brags about their accomplishments is probably fine, but someone who lords it over other people and treats them like garbage because of it, not so much. Breaking a rule or law that you have deemed to be unfair, even if you might be wrong, probably isn't going to be too sinful. But breaking a rule or law simply because you believe that you are above those rules while others need to follow them is probably a sin. Sin 5, sloth. This one's a bit tricky because it doesn't always feel as relevant to today's time as it did to early developing situations. You can spend a lot of your life simply relaxing and not be harming anyone by doing it, particularly if you come from a family of privilege. But back in early iterations of society, it took a lot of work just to maintain basic living conditions. We didn't have dishwashers, we didn't have vacuums, and even cooking could take hours and hours for something really simple that takes 10 minutes today. With that in mind, I think sloth is something that, these days, mostly affects those with some level of responsibility that shirk it out of pure laziness. A parent who refuses to get a job to support his family, or who simply doesn't take the time to be active in their child's life, are likely going to be sinful enough to go to hell if the outcomes of this are particularly bad for the children, such as someone abandoning their children. It could also apply to people who refuse to help others when they easily have the means, simply because they don't want to take the time or energy to do it. Number 6, envy. This one's a bit self-explanatory and encompasses a lot. Basically, it's just the lengths you are going to go to because of your envy, theft, sabotage, or even murder, that dictates if you will go to hell. Simply being jealous of someone isn't going to do it. This leads me to the final sin, lust. Some people have speculated...
This one's kind of obvious, I mean...
that in Hazbin Hell, being not straight is considered sinful, as the overwhelming majority of characters we see aren't exactly heterosexual. Angel is gay, Alistair is asexual, Vaggie is a lesbian, Charlie is bisexual, Moxie is bisexual, Blitz is pansexual and fantasizes about threesomes, and the list goes on and on. That being said, I think this has more to do with the creator of the show liking diverse lifestyles instead of trying to comment on the morality of those lifestyles. It would seem to me that what makes lust sinful is whether or not it hurts someone else. Is lust your motivation for forcing yourself upon an unwilling participant? Is the driving force in cheating on your partner, your spouse, or what have you? Are you using it just as an excuse to bed your buddy by less than honest means? While being lustful to the point of self-destruction or self-degradation may factor into how sinful it is, I would wager it has more to do with whether or not your lust is directly hurting someone else in some way. But these are just my theories right now. Feel free to let me know.
See, again, I feel... Hold on, let's just let the video play out.
If there's any nuance I might have missed, or if there are other sins you think get has-been characters sent to hell that aren't one of the 7 deadly sins, and please don't use this as an excuse just to talk about the Bible or other religions or very religious
Well, I mean,
rules.
Let's face it, some people are going to do that anyway.
But rather, morality as it should be.
It's just something that happens whenever you try to write a story that incorporates aspects of any religion. You're going to have people who do practice those religions talking to you about how, oh, well, you missed this certain thing or this certain thing, or how this it says this here. You're just going to get those people no matter what. Which is fine, by the way. Nothing wrong with that.
Show, not because we want it to be, but because it's relevant to its lore. That's all I have for now.
Okay, so that's pretty much the end of the video. So yeah, so one thing that's kind of important that was pointed out in the video is that, you know, these sins in and of itself, you know, like wrath, pride, lust, gluttony, sloth, envy, all those things, and the others. I feel like what's kind of important is like, okay, think about the context of them. For example, like, let's say pride. Someone being proud of their accomplishments isn't necessarily a bad thing. In fact, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think people should be proud of their accomplishments. Like, for example, as of the recording of this video, I finally hit 500 subs, and I am pretty proud of that. And of course, I appreciate every single person who did subscribe, and I hope you will continue to support me in the future. And being proud of that, there's nothing wrong with that. But using it to, like, let's say lording over your accomplishment over someone else. Like, let's say I have 500 subs and I look at a channel that has 0 subs and I say, haha, look at them, look at this fucking loser, he's got 0 subs, this guy will never have, I have this many, you have 0. No, that's a bad thing. Okay, don't do that. Okay, yes, be proud that you have and I'm just saying this from YouTuber's perspective. Yes, be proud of what you have, but don't use it as a chance to don't lord it over someone else who may not be as lucky as you, okay? That would be like someone, let's say, for example, someone who has 1 million subs, lording it over someone who has 100,000. Okay, yeah, you have more than him, but that's not an excuse to lord it over someone. Or let's say someone, let's just move away from YouTube. Let's say, for example, someone, let's say in real life, someone is married, they have children, their children are happy and healthy, and they're doing well in school, and they have a lot of friends. Basically, they're living pretty good lives. All their debts are paid off, and they're financially well off. They are doing great. Imagine if someone, let's say, for example, the parents look at another couple, and let's say they're living in a small apartment with their 2 kids. They're barely being able to make rent, and they just decide to lord it over them and say, look at us, we're doing so much better than you. We are better than you. Look at what we've done compared to what you've done. No, that's a bad thing, okay? That's just you letting your pride get to your head, okay? Or another example would be if, let's say, someone is so high off their own fumes that they just think they're so much better than everyone. And it's just, I think that, again, just context does matter. But the thing that I wanted to talk about earlier that I said I was going to save for later is, we talk about context when it comes to these sins. The thing is, and I can't remember if I've mentioned this in a previous video, but remember in the, I think it was the 4th episode of Hell of a Boss, the one with the cherubs. Remember what happened in the end, where, the cherubs tried to go back to heaven, but they got kicked out, and the reason is that because, their actions resulted in the death of a human. Same thing as what that annoying deer said. The thing is, again, if you think about it in context, it wasn't 100% their fault. They were just trying to get rid of these imps who are getting in the way of doing their jobs. And the thing is, they thought they were getting rid of them, but it's just that action resulted in the death of an actual human being, which, if you think about it, looking back at the episode, they mostly died because of, let's face it was kind of cartoon logic, because the guy did move out of the way and the piano just somehow miraculously moved to squash him and then kill him. So again, all that is to say, it wasn't 100% their fault, and you would think that heaven would look at that and say, okay, yeah, this did happen, but considering these circumstances, we might want to make an exception. But the thing is, that didn't happen. All they cared about is you did something that caused someone's death, and that was enough. And I'm just wondering if maybe that's probably going to play a part in the actual show in Hazbin Hotel, because even though all of the characters are technically not good people, at least we know Alistair's a serial killer and a cannibal. And of course, Angel was, of course, a member of the mob family, so odds are he probably ended up killing a lot of people. But then again, what if it turns out that there was a little bit more to them? Like, let's say, for example, Alistair, a lot of people theorize that maybe the reason why he was a serial killer is because he was killing people who actually deserved it. But then again, would that actually matter to heaven? Because all they cared about is the fact that you killed people. Now, granted, you could say that Alistair maybe took joy in killing them, and yeah, that would be different. Like, if you were just killing people because they were bad people who were hurting people, and you thought that getting rid of them would just be, for the benefit of everyone in wherever it is you were doing it, that's different from you killing them because you actually enjoyed it. Okay, if you enjoyed it, that makes it different than you doing it because you thought it was the right thing to do. even though it could still be debated that is killing someone ever the right thing to do. And it's just that's a whole debate. We don't need to get into that. Oh, um, and then of course when it comes to Angel, yeah, we know he was a mob. He was a member of a mob family, and odds are he's probably ended up killing someone. But what if he only did those because he was ordered to by his, let's say, his dad or someone else in the family? Again, all that is to say is, there might be more to, the reasons why they did what they did when they were alive, which got them sent to hell. But I can't help but wonder if maybe that's going to play a part where heaven doesn't take the context into the situation, where all they saw is you did this, therefore that makes you a bad person, that means you belong in hell. Just this narrow black and white view of things. I can't help but wonder if maybe that's going to play a part in it. But anyway, guys, those are just my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. As always, remember to do the YouTube things, liking, sharing, and of course subscribing to my channel. And maybe by the time you've seen this video, I will have hit 1,000 subs. If I had, I can't help but thank you enough. Maybe you can help me get to 2,000. We'll have to wait and see. But with all that said and out of the way, remember to stay safe, take care of yourselves as always. Hope to see you for the next reaction. Bye for now.